Hello everyone, my name is Loco, and welcome to a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Zerg versus Protoss. We're in the top left hand corner. Game number 1, playing with the blue Zerg drones. We have none other than Rogue, and his opponent down in the bottom right with the red Protoss pieces. He goes by the name of Hero. Alrighty, so this series was recently played, during the GSL code S. Now, I have not been too impressed by Rogue's Zerg versus Protoss, if I am perfectly honest with you. I think across the board... Do we have any sound? Hold up. Do we have any sound? We gotta turn the music on. I think across the board... There it is. The voices in my head were getting louder. Across the board, Rogue's Zerg versus Terran is phenomenal, but his Zerg versus Protoss is a little bit... Like, it's not bad... But he is very clearly not comfortable playing late game against Protoss at this point in time. So it seems to me that we have got a new strategy for this particular series, at least to start things off. I think we're going for a hatchery first in our own natural, and then another hatchery over in the natural of the opponent. There you go. Now, this is Hero we're talking about. I've seen a Rogue play against the more macro-focused Protoss players, like, for example, well, the classics of this world, and he seems to be struggling against that more passive approach. I really think if Hero decides to play a passive series, that he is going to be the favorite going into this. But I'm pretty sure Hero, I mean, we have seen Hero play against Dark, like, literally dozens of times over the years, and he invites chaos. Hero is somebody who's like, well, I was gonna just do something, but here we go. I guess the gloves are off, so I'm secretly hoping that this sort of stuff is immediately going to trigger all of those crazy strategies that Hero is very, very well known for. I don't think he should. Like, if he wants to win this series, I think he should actually just play it passively. But at least for Rogue's sake, I think it would be better if Hero decides to mix it up and be a little bit silly about it all. Okay, he's gonna try and steal a gas. Not going to happen. Hero is not gonna let him snatch that. Then again, though, if you do play those crazy games against somebody like Hero, I mean, he has played against the likes of Dark for many years in a row. Dark currently in the military, but it does, of course, mean that Hero has a lot of practice against those styles, and he's very good at doing it. All right, so he didn't get to block the natural for that long. He didn't get to steal the gas inside of the main base either, so apparently we will settle for a gas geyser right over here in the natural expansion instead. What is happening in the meantime, though, on the side of the Zerg? Well, we have that Zealot that made its way across. This was the one that was previously in charge of killing the hatch. Second Zealot also joining in. I think Second Zealot is actually generally not that great of a play. Well, let's see if we can maybe have the Adepto deal some damage. Nice target firing right there by the Protoss player. A bunch of slow Zerglings are joining in. Of course, the Protoss units will regenerate shields. Brenda is taking a lot of damage, and she will die. In the meantime, the Adept decides to commit to shading in the main base. A bunch of drones do go down. Okay, so that was a Queen, and then 3 drones and a bunch of Zerglings for 2 Zealots and an Adept. Honestly, don't hate it. No, I actually thought that was going to be worse for the Protoss than it was. If there were just, like, 2 additional Zerglings, though, to the ones that were there when the Zealots first came across the map, I think it would have looked a little different. Either way, Hero got some more value than I think he was also hoping for at that stage in the game. Well, we got ourselves a Void Ray right now on the back of this. Void Ray is going to be great at killing the Overlord, and then also, yeah, the Gas Geyser. Already we have the rally points set up. It does mean that this upgrade, the Warp Gate research, is extremely late. Like, we're 4 minutes in and it's not even halfway done. Oracle on the back of this, though, is going to be okay. We'll probably get a Twilight Council here in just a moment. Still, Rogue has a bunch of Zerglings out, and taking the third might actually be a bit of a problem. Where'd the Void Ray go? Oh, he wants to get all the damage. So he wanted to originally settle for the Overlord kill in the natural and then also the gas. But he wants to get another Overlord and then go home, I think, and do the other 2 targets that he was previously assigned to. Not bad. The creep spread is looking pretty terrible here for Rogue, who is going to get a full scout of the main base off. Oracle, though, is going to be used right now for, yeah, keeping this third base up and running. Fair enough. Evo Chamber on the back of this for Rogue, who will probably go +1 melee, if I were to make a guess. Void Ray, by the way, is still hunting. This guy is specialized in killing overlords. Innocent targets that stand no chance because they have no way to fight. Wow. You proud of yourself, dude?
Dimensional strings attuned.
Well, dimensional strings or strength or whatever attuned right now. With the Void Ray heading back home, we're gonna go and send the oracles out. This overlord is still going to die no matter what. It just got to live a little bit longer. +1 melee coming here though for Rogue, who's adding on a bunch of drones. I mean, you can kill this. Yeah, those oracles have a lot of energy. Woo. And so far, Hero is looking like a bit of a bully. We're gonna go charge together with +1 as well. Let's go. So he is ready to really lay down the law. It's a bit funny because he has shown to his opponent that he's got 3 gases. You don't necessarily need this much gas at this point in time. Gateway's coming up. Pretty fun, actually. So far, this is a very nice back and forth, but I'm liking this position for Hero a little bit better. Then again, Hero needs to effectively win the game with this upcoming attack, or at the very least deal a lot of damage with it, because this is a big commitment. If he gets scouted here and Zerg starts making some sort of defenses, life is going to be nice for Rogue. Rogue, though, has decided to skip both the Baneling Nest as well as the Roach Warren, and he did the same thing against Classic. He went Hydras straight as we have another Queen going down. We have probably what is going to be Zerglings going straight into Hydralisks. So no Banelings, no Roach Warren, no nothing. And with the Queens going down, okay, a little overly ambitious on that, well, 1 Oracle there, but with the Queens going down, there will be very little to tank for the Zealots. He's been warping them in at home. And very soon, they're going to be able to finish up 2 upgrades, a big power spike for the unit. There is no warp gates, though, or there's no, like, warp-in location, like no proxy gateway. And no, I don't know, like, for example, a warp prism out anywhere either. Hero has decided to not use the all army hotkey today, which means that he is extra dangerous. I think you go for the throat, dude. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, leave this base alone, go for the natural. Killing the fort seems like an absolute waste of time. These Lings have +1 melee, but they will still die to the Zealots very rapidly. These Zealots have +1, meaning that they 2-shot Zerglings rather than 3. And the Lings deal some additional damage too, but already those Adepts and, well, those Oracles earlier, those couple of Zealots at the very beginning, right? They have softened up the defenses here quite a bit. And even though this is a super messy engagement, and not one where Hero can really micro any of his units and squeeze more value out of them, sometimes the A move is good enough, GG. Hero. He's known as an absolute micro monster. Some of the very best Stalker control in the entire game. Some of the best Protoss pickup micro we ever see. But sometimes, when your heart wants to make Zealots, you gotta send in the Zealots. You just gotta make them. The heart wants what it wants. F2A move is a very legitimate Protoss strategy, as every StarCraft 2 letter hero will indeed be able to agree with. It is a dangerous army, even though he's a man that can squeeze. What is this? What Hero? What is this absolute garbage wall off? Can I say that I hate everything about this? What are we looking at right now? Hero's like, everybody always hates my wall offs. I'm gonna try and one-up myself. Ay, ay, ay. I've seen many hypotheses as to why Hero's wall-offs are generally very cursed. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are pretty bad. I think he's mostly just trying to troll us. This is... Once upon a time, Zerg players would punish this in a heartbeat. Back in my day, whenever a Zerg player would see a wall-off like this, they would effectively immediately put down a Baneling Nest and just bust their way through everything. Now, personally, I love busting, but most of the professional Zergs don't. This is so cursed, though. This is such a vulnerable wall-off. Now, all jokes aside, this is just not ideal. It's very easy for Zerg to overwhelm it. Not just with Banelings, by the way. Like, even Zerglings can deal a lot of damage to this much surface area. Even Roaches can very quickly. Bust through all of that. Alright, well, Rogue is gonna see it right now. Is he gonna let him get away with this? I think he is. Yeah, I think he probably will. Is he gonna pull the drones out of gas? Yeah, he will pull the drones out at 200, or at 100 rather. So he can go metabolic boost. There we go. Couple of Zerglings. Once more a Stargate here. No surprise. I wonder if Hero does this mostly because he wants to be busted. Like, he doesn't want to say it, but he secretly, you know, maybe that's what's going on here. Because Zerg players just don't really do it anymore. Back in the day, it used to be an easy win, right? Because you can just re-wall yourself pretty quickly. Maybe I'm also overthinking it, and it really doesn't matter, but you just look at the way that, like, Terran, for example, plays the early game. It is all razor sharp. Like, the building positioning is very crisp. And then you have, well, the man who is the #1 Protoss in the world wall off with their very first structure in the most random location ever. There's zero consistency to it, too. The only consistency is that it's inconsistent. Look at that! Ooh, I love that! You held position on that one probe in the back to make it impossible for those Zerglings to escape. Ultimately, Probius did die, so it wasn't actually that ideal of a trait for the Protoss. But it was a cute play and a mental victory nonetheless. Alright, let's see. Oracle first again. I mean, I say again, he didn't do that in the previous game, but this is, of course, what we see almost every single time out of Protoss players these days. Let's see. He's gonna commit? Are you insane, Hero? You're gonna lose both of those attempts. No, actually you won't. No, you are. I think. Why would you commit there? That's pretty wild. Oh, he decides to cancel the shade. Yeah, those adepts are dead. Okay. Well, I have no reasoning for that move. That was very questionable. Now the Oracle is throwing a tantrum over here, desperately trying to kill an Overlord. Doesn't get the job done. He didn't know what was inside of that cocoon. Roach Warren comes up for Rogue. Okay. Now, many geniuses didn't get appreciated in the period that they lived in, right? Many highly intelligent people over the years, or at the very least creative people over the centuries, didn't really get recognized until long after. Hero has gotten a lot of recognition in the StarCraft explorations, but it's still... it's performative art. Maybe that's what it is over here. It's kind of beautiful. So, this could have been more than these adepts right now coming across the map. It is triple Oracle. We are once more going Twilight Council together with a Forge. I honestly don't really like this start though for Hero. Rogue can do whatever he likes here. The fact that all of the Oracles are here is really, really good. What about these adepts? They have snuck around the map and they are unscouted, so maybe that's going to be able to deal quite a bit of damage. Rogue, by the way, skipping out on the +1 melee this time around and favoring the +1 missile instead. Yeah, I'm gonna make the assumption that when I'm dead, people will finally appreciate that 12 pool is a macro build. Like right now, there's a lot of naysayers, you know, where people are like, actually, the fastest possible spawning pool and fastest possible Zergling rush. I don't think you're right, Loco. But I think after my death, this will be appreciated for sure. Now, this is looking really quite good though for Hero. 9 workers worth of damage. 8 adepts going down together with a Zealot. I mean, it is a good bit of damage done, but I think also was a little bit of over-droning here from Rogue. So this mostly just resets the game a bit. Easy for Protoss at this point. Oh my god, I just realized he did it again. No way, Hero. Well, now you're doing it against somebody who did not skip their Roach Warren. He's once more going charged together with +1. Rogue is just about, by the way, to send everything he has towards the other side of the map. It is shown right here to the Protoss player, but apparently he doesn't care. Oracle's in the meantime, though, softening up one of the queens, killing a roach, killing the queen right now, too. Accidentally AFKing on a spore crawler. No, no, come on, Hero. Did we just lose 2 oracles to a spore crawler? Is it because we... Hold up right now. Is it because... This is the way Diamond League players like to wall off. So basically what you do is you put a probe on hold position so you can all army hotkey. It's not even... Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not even in the right spot. So this is also setting this in motion right over here. Maybe if we made the wall off a little bit better early on, this wouldn't be an issue at all. Now the Zealots are actually gonna meet those units. I'm sorry, Brenda, there was no room in the plane. Brenda's gonna have to walk around too, man. It's kind of sad, yeah. There are transfusions available, so that will be nice. I don't think this is going to work at all for Hero. Maybe? I mean, Rogue has a lot of units. Oh, the Queen's moved back into the Overlord. We're doing some Overlord micro to try and keep the Queens alive. You know what? With Triple Oracle, I think those Roaches actually would have been in a world of trouble. Oh, jeez. Well, that is... Where's Brenda? Did she... Oh, there she is. Yes, Brenda got the kill. Well done. Man, this is the most Hero-esque game I have ever seen. I don't think it's gonna work out in his favor, though, but my god. Yeah, Hero sometimes looks like this, and it's entertaining, I will give him that. But I don't believe it is ideal. Can we kill that pylon, please? I love the drop micro there from Rogue, though. We never really see that. Well, that is most of the production here at the front shut down. GG gets called. Rogue gets a point on the board. Next up, we find ourselves on the map Torches. Now, this is an important match in a premier StarCraft 2 tournament. Look, I understand that Heroes sometimes plays these wild and wacky games for, you know, the $100 events and all that, but I always secretly tell myself in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, Hero is playing like this because he's just having some fun, right? But then he does it as well at the premier tournaments, and you're like, It's so weird because Hero is like, he's very inconsistent with a lot of the things that he does, which is a bit funky if you compare it to all of the other top-level players. Like, I'm pretty sure on a bad day, Serral is still going to be able to demolish like 99.999% of the StarCraft 2 player base. Because his autopiloting skills are still absolute S tier. But then Hero's autopiloting skills are just like, I am going to just make weird stuff and try to squeeze as much juice out of my weird Zealot all-in, and then accidentally forget that I have 3 Oracles out, and all army hotkey, and put a probe on the wall off, but not even put it in the right position. It's a bit weird. It's a bit funky. I don't really like it. Oh my god, what are we doing? Hold up right now. Rogue, while I was yapping away, just stole one of the bases on the other side of the map. This is a proxy hatch first. Now, Hero has seen the lack of hatchery over here. He has seen the timing of everything else. So he knows that there's a hatchery out there somewhere. We really should check. We should check any of those locations down on the low ground. Maybe check as well if these mineral fields are being harvested, because this could be very, very dangerous. So far, though, yeah, Rogue is basically trying to play a series where he doesn't have to go late game, and he's getting away with it. So he mined out these skinny mineral fields over here, which Hero could have checked for, but didn't. And he's made a hatchery in the most unlikely location ever. Hero's looking around the map. He's checking whether or not it's a gold base first on this side. Now he probably assumes it's a gold base first on the other side instead. But this is not a gold base first. This is a link flood. Hero, we need to check. How are we not checking this, man? This is how you can really tell that Dark is in the military, because this is something Dark would have exploited. Oh, there we go. About 69 times against Hero already. Now he finds out that this is fully, well, available to the Zerg player. That pylon came in at the perfect opportunity, though, but there are now a bunch of drones here, too, just to try and make it a little bit more complex. My question mostly is there enough firepower for the Zerg to break through it? Certainly so. And is there enough then for Protoss to try and defend? We have a sentry. We needed the sentry over there. Why is the sentry attacking an Overlord? We need a force field. Okay, we can force field them out of the main base, I suppose. Fair enough. No wall off completed over here, but we do have a bunch of structures building. Hero, why do we... Another sentry just popped. Oh, he's gonna force field himself out of the base. Force field, though, mispositioned. Okay, he's falling apart. I think Rogue's original plan was to hit with link speed, but then he saw an opportunity and took it with both hands. The shield battery here is nice. Second shield battery will not finish up in time. Recalls into the main base. I mean, the sentries didn't make it. There's still a bunch of drones going to town as well. So far, the crisis management here of the Protoss is not going all too well, and Rogue is getting exactly what he is set out to do, and that is to desperately prevent playing a late game against a Protoss player. Well, why play a late game if you can win at minute 4? What's the point? 3 workers remain. That's not enough. Believe it or not, it's going to be very difficult to win the game with only 3. And that means we have arrived on ley lines, which is match point here for Rogue. I think if Hero just plays literally the most stock standard game possible, which so far we have, judging by the pylon positioning, if he just plays an adept or two to our other side of the map, you take your oracle first, you use that oracle or these adepts to take the third base at about 335 or so. Then you transition towards blink together with +1, you do a bit of damage on the other side of the map while you creep your way to a 4th, and then you turtle on 4 bases, going to sky toss, eventually take a 5th. I think if you play that style against Rogue, you will be more than likely to win if you do it well. Because that's how we see Rogue falter almost every time in this matchup. Rogue seems to refuse to play a late-game army for Zerg. He kind of gets stuck on this like never-ending mid-game because he doesn't want to play late-game at all. He did do that weird like mass ultra mass infestor style, where the idea was to neural parasite every single one of the Protoss units, I guess. Which, spoiler alert, didn't work out whatsoever. I don't think Rogue wants to play late game. So giving Rogue these like early game scenarios just seems like a strategic error. So I would like to just see a normal game here for Hero. You know that meme with the kid in the backseat where the mom is screaming like, why can't you just be normal? That is me right now talking to Hero. Just play a normal game, please. Can we just do... Okay, perfect. Now, of course, it does mean that you have to be able to defend against a lot of the different Zerg all-ins. I don't think Rogue is gonna want to sit back and let you macro. So I'm assuming we'll see, I don't know, some sort of aggression from Rogue. Be it with a Link Flood, be it with a Roach Ravager all-in, be it with a Hydra push, be it with a Queen like Nidus, be it even Swarm Host. Like, I think anything in the mid-game is on the table. And that's, of course, very difficult, right? I mean, Zerg in the early game is pretty one-dimensional. But Zerg in the mid-game is very, very dangerous. Because they have, like, literally a dozen options that are all viable. So, I guess Hero is kind of trying to play around that and making sure that, you know, this is his game to control. Because when you do play that more passive approach, it does mean, of course, that, well, Zerg can kind of just do whatever they like. And it's scary, but I mean, you're Hero. Hero is Hero is a Protoss monster. So far, this is all very normal. He did decide to go for a second gateway before a third. It does mean that the third gets delayed a little bit. Not the end of the world at all. The normal timing these days is about 3:45 in a normal game. Like this. So 3:34. Okay, it means that Hero's macro so far is on point. Next step is to keep all of those oracles alive and hopefully deal a bit of damage. He could have done at least 2 workers worth of damage here. Not going to happen. In the meantime, there is... Where's the adept? Didn't we have a second adept? Yeah, we have multiples. I guess they're on the other side of the map still. I don't know what they're doing over here, but they probably should be set up over here at home to protect the third. It means that this second oracle is unable to do its job. Okay, he's trying to shade in again, but that's never going to work. If you send these guys to their deaths right now, it's going to be very tricky. Okay, he sees the links, decides to cancel. This Oracle activating its Pulsar Beam, though, is also kind of rough. He's done 0 workers worth of damage so far on the side of the Zerg. And you can see that not yet reflected in the work account, but Rogue is powering out the drones right here. Rogue going +1 melee. Was that a Roach Warren? Oh, Yikes. A little bit of nerfs coming in here as well for Rogue, who accidentally re-rallied all of his drones into a mineral patch. Did we move the one at... What? How did this happen? What? How, where did you go? So he warps in a bunch of additional adepts. The adepts over here are going back home, and then these lads just leave. There's an overlord right there. Immediately, Zerglings get looped around the site. Why? But, like, why, though? We could at least put a... Like, even Rogue is like, there's got to be a stasis ward in there. Like, why are we... Then we warp in an adept, give it up for free? Okay. Immediately, additional links come up, though, and maybe that loss can actually be justified here with the amount of drones that these adepts can kill. Okay. Okay. That was not the end of the world yet, but I mean, that's not ideal either. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot more links. Should be an easy cleanup. Yeah, we're going to settle here for a little bit of Kleep career. Kleep. Oh, really? We commit? There's no way. He meant to cancel that. There's no way. Those oracles were not even with the units. Dude, MaxPax fans eating good tonight. Ay, ay, ay. Cancel that. MaxPax fans out there, like, right now, they're like, oh my god, see? I've been telling you guys MaxPax is the #1 Protoss. Heroes had these games in series, and I guess maybe they're just off days or whatever. Maybe Hero is a human. I don't know, but we're lacking that refinement, right? And, you know, the last 1% of improvement in StarCraft 2 is all the difference. Like, the final 1% improvement is for all of the marbles. So, there's a lot of players that can play, like, 99% effective. And when I say a lot, I mean, I'm talking a few hundred. But that final 1% is what separates really good players from the best. And sometimes Hero just kind of loses that edge, and I don't know why. It just always seems a bit messy. Rogue so far, by the way, not really skipping a beat here. In game #1, he decided to skip the Roach Warren. And skipping the Roach Warren effectively means that you take a gamble, and he took a gamble, and he, well, lost. Now, he skipped the Roach Warren again this time around, but he decided to go Baneling Nest instead. Hero does have an awful lot of workers, but I think it's because, yeah, we just have a whole lot of units on the other side of the map, and is there enough here? Ooh, the probes do sneak away just barely in the nick of time. That could have been an absolute disaster there for Hero. But I think it is still going to be a crisis because this third is in a world of trouble. These are Lings and Banes with +1 melee. Probes, why are you guys here? Why are you guys here? Run away, little probes! Oh, jeez. They wanted to clump up together so they could go to Protoss Heaven together too and meet Tassadar again. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, loads of workers though are still going to fall. The oracles are working away, but this is a disaster and a half. In the meantime, drones are coming up on the production tab. Rogue's going into Hydraling Bane in the end, and now he's doing it against 2-base Protoss, which is very different than the 4-base Protoss he had to deal with. Oh, all right. Don't know what you guys are doing here. Go home! It's very different than the 4-base Protoss style that he had to contend with when he went up against Classic. Suddenly, Hero's worker count has been sliced in half. Okay. Well, Rogue is chilling. This is when Rogue can just kind of chill. Yeah, we just hang out. We go for our upgrades. I think you get both of the Hydra upgrades. So you get muscular augments as well. So this is the ranged grooved spines, and then you get the speed muscular augments, and you just send everything. Hero's broken his piggy bank. He's like, well, this is my only way. Fingers crossed I'm not gonna be attacked for a while. He's decided to spend all of his savings from his birthday, from Christmas, from when he, like, I don't know, finished high school. I don't know how it works in Korea, but we have put all of our savings into one Templar archives. Those High Templar are looking menacing. Keep in mind at this point, all they can do is feedback and throw water balloons. Now, I love water balloons as much as the next guy, but water balloons in StarCraft 2 literally deal less damage than worker units do. So those auto attacks from the High Templar are just there so they don't wander too far forward. And you can actually all army hotkey. This is a tiny little hit squad for Rogue, though. Rogue has a lot more units coming. He's actually finished droning up to 74, which is pretty nuts. He really didn't need to do that. But GG gets cold. And that indeed means that Rogue obtains the victory 3-1 over Hero in a best of 5 series. I think that series worked out perfectly for Rogue. Like, Rogue just really wanted to defend any possibility for a late game. So he just wanted to make sure that we never got there and we never had to deal with any of that. And, well, ultimately, that worked out perfectly for him. Now, of course, massive shout out to all of the Patreon supporters. If you want to go check it out, you can head on over to patreon.com/LocoTV. Thank you, guys.